What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee with Dudes pod. We got another solo pod this week, and I just wanted to recap how my weekend went. And this episode is just going to be a reminder to have fun. Remember to enjoy yourself. I've been in a little bit of not a rut lately, but just feeling like work is really stressful and feeling like, man, I just need to get out and do something, and I want to get as far away from work as possible sometimes to be able to just not I love my work, but I want to be able to kind of reset sometimes when you feel like you don't get to do that very often or you haven't done it in a while and you want to do it and you kind of been just yearning for that. I was finally able to get out this past week. This was Labor Day weekend, so Katie and I got to go to a brunch spot. We got to get some breakfast. We got to go to the coast, make a trip to the coast. If you guys haven't been to the Oregon coast isn't like your traditional coast. It's not like your beach. Like if I'm from California, so when I first originally heard like, oh, Oregon coast, super sunny, awesome beaches, you know, ton of surfing, right? Like I'm comparing it to LA, to San Diego, to all our beaches in California, right? And it's definitely not that. It's overcast, it's gloomy. Um, if you're fortunate enough to get some sun over there, it's still a lot cooler at the coast. Like, so if it's 90 here inland, it's going to be closer to like 65 ish. That's what it was this past weekend when it was 90 some degrees here. And, it just takes a little bit of getting used to. So when people say coast or beach, I have a very, I guess specific perception having grown up in California, but it's definitely not like that, but still very much so enjoyable, like still super awesome. So we did a hike called the Coastal Lookout, and it was about 2.5 miles up and then 2.5 miles back down. So a little bit over five and some change. Um, and it was rated medium, I believe. And there was a couple parts on the trail, super cool views once you made it. So it was definitely worth the view getting up there. But one of the things that I noticed when hiking, I don't know if you guys noticed this as well too, but I find myself looking forward to like little small checkpoints. And I think there's a lot of lessons that can be learned in this as well. As like almost, I felt like if I was anticipating almost being there, or I was like, hey man, it's right around this next turn, or it's within the next, quarter of a mile, we're gonna reach the top. And even if it wasn't, but just giving myself like that low hanging fruit kept me in the mix, kept me in the game when my legs are burning, when you're breathing heavy. There was a lot of change in terrain on this one too. So like there's a lot of mud, ton of mud. There was some places where you're like bracing, putting your hands on like the side of the hill and trying to climb over these gnarly roots with a bunch of mud and like you're trying not to eat it. And it wasn't just like super well like maintained trails. There were parts that were that, but there was a huge like middle section that was like we were laughing at some of the people like the shoes they were wearing. We saw people like in Air Forces and we saw people like in super nice shoes. We're just like, what are you doing? Our shoes were toasted by the time we were done with this hike. Um, my full foot like just sunk in mud, So like there's a couple stages and areas like that where it's very like you better watch your footing or else you're going down. And as I'm trekking along the hike, I'm like, man, you know what? Maybe just around this corner, maybe around the next corner, we're almost there. So stay focused. Like, you know, um, we're almost there, so to speak, right? The view is going to be worth it. So you start having these things go through your head, and like where you can also be thinking like, dang, my legs hurt, man, I'm out of breath, or man, this hike's super long, right? You start having these limiting beliefs, and I noticed those sort of thoughts also come and carry over into situations and scenarios in our health and fitness. So, like when we're along our nutrition journey, right? Or we're trying to live a healthier lifestyle and we're embracing these new habits, and the habits that we once had previously weren't serving us, but we get all of a sudden we get on this journey and it's the same thing. I noticed, if you give yourself that low hanging fruit, something to anticipate and something to look forward to, the likelihood of you sticking it through and seeing it through during the process of improving your health and fitness is going to be a lot more doable. It's a lot simpler because you're anticipating and you're looking forward to something versus every day waking up and going, man, this sucks. Why am I doing it? I got to remind myself why I'm doing it. It could be a slugfest if you go through it like that. So it's no fun when you do that. So very similar to thoughts and limiting thoughts and positive thoughts that I was thinking on this hike relate to the journey itself, more on like a broader term of health and fitness. When you go to improve your health and fitness, like you're going to have those thoughts of, man, I don't want to do my workout today. Man, I don't want to prep and plan ahead. I don't want to go to the grocery store. But if you're like, man, if I go to the grocery store and you know what, I'm gonna give myself a time limit. It's 5:30 right now. I bet you I can make it back before 6. Like little things like that where you can almost gamify it have now turned something into this like arduous, I don't even know if that's a word, turn this into like a long drawn out boring, I don't want to do it type of thing, versus you gamify it a little bit. Oh, I'm going to give myself something to look forward to in the short term. And I just keep chunking it down into like little sections like that. Before you know, you chip away, you're at the top of the mountain, you're getting to enjoy the scenic route. You've hit a new PR in your weights, or your progress photos have improved drastically, or you got to a lower body fat percentage, but it's only because you were focused on doing the task and taking that step very cliche-esque, very taking that step right in front of you as if you were on that hike like I was this past weekend. So in addition to that, I don't know if I could relate that over to what else we did, but we went fishing on the Columbia, Cascade Locks, one of my favorite places to fish. We caught a ton of fish, bunch of smallies. I think Katie might have set her PR on her smallie. I think she got like a 2.7 pounder. So we're going to try to get her a 4 pounder. They're definitely out there and they're plentiful on the Columbia, but we didn't run any 4 pounders that day. The biggest we had was a little over 3. So still a fun, great day. Spent all day out on the water. Got a little windy out there. Met up with one of my buddies, Ryan, and his brother out there, and ran into a couple buddies, Jim and Joe. And so like just seeing other people out there that and you guys are doing things that you love, it gives me that reset. It's the reset that I needed this week, getting some outdoor activity, especially while the weather's still good here, and being able to come back into this week recharged, revamped, ready to go, feeling like my batteries are full. And I hope you guys, and I encourage you guys to do the same. So this one was kind of twofold. Get out, do something that you love, enjoy, especially if you had a tough, long week. And then also the other part is being able to chunk things down into digestible steps, digestible low-hanging fruit, little small chunked goals, so that you can almost gamify your approach. And in that approach, you can almost turn the result that you're originally going for into a byproduct, because you're so focused on the step right in front of you, like we talked about being on that hike. So hopefully this was helpful. Just wanted to shed some light on my weekend, some things that I did to rejuvenate myself, and then also the mindset going into those things to help me get recharged and head into this week super strong. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you like it, share with a friend, family member. We're releasing still 2 episodes every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you guys have any other questions or topics that you would like to see us do, always put them in the comments or shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from you guys. And if you feel like somebody could have benefited from this, all we ask from you guys is to share it with somebody that you know, like, and love. And we will catch you guys on the next one.